little ears.
I know, they're so cute. Hi, I thought today that I would try to do a video on brain tanning. So I was gifted this really beautiful creature from a friend whose dog happened to get him. So today Luna's gonna help me. She's my granddaughter. Yeah, so the first step that we're gonna have to do is to remove the hide. Before you do that though, if you have any cuts or anything, you want to make sure that you cover them so they don't get all gross and just infected. I accidentally sanded myself the other day, so I'm covering that up and we will be getting started. But before we do, I would like to give thanks to this animal and its life and the purpose that it served on this planet, and that I may honor it in a way and be able to utilize his body for things that will benefit us, as in purses, whatever we're going to make out of it. But we're going to use it for cool things. Anyways, so, he is so cute. Let's see, where are we going to start?
Right in the middle.
Yeah, we got to start down here, but we don't want to poke his tummy.
Why?
Well, because we don't want his guts to come out. We're just going to take his skin off.
His guts?
Yeah, so we start down here. Cut it.
Why do we have to cut it off?
Because we got to get his skin off.
Why?
So once you skin your animal, you want to make sure you remove all the fat and membrane off it and get it as clean as you possibly can. Just be really careful with smaller animals. The skin is a lot thinner, so you can get holes in your hide, which you don't want. Once that's done, then I take the skull and get the brains out. Every animal has enough brains to tan its own hide. A lot of people will cut the skull in half and then scoop out the brains, but I like to keep the skulls, so I just take a little stick or a toothpick in this case, because this is a little guy, and I just get it all out. And you'll see here there really isn't a ton of brains, but that's all we need. So once you do all that, you're going to want to add some water to that. You want it as hot as you possibly can stand, but still be able to put your hands in it. I already heated this up, and I have a little bit of cold water in case I need to add some of that. So I'm going to do about 2 cups. I need enough water so that the animal's hide will fit in the water fully. And that's actually just about right. It's a little hot. And then what I'm doing is I'm just squeezing the brains in there so that it all dissolves into the water really nicely. Once that's done, I'll put the hide in. It's a tiny bit hot, so I'm going to add a tiny bit of cold. Not much. Oh, that's better. Okay. So then I'm going to take my hide. There's a lot of ways to skin it. For my project, I wanted to keep his little feet on and his head, so I left that all on there. And I'm going to turn it inside out so that I can get it soaked really well. And I just submerge them in there. And I'm just going to squish him around in there for a good 5 minutes. And this part, it's really hard to explain just by talking. You're really going for a specific texture. I would say it's kind of elasticy. So I'm just going to keep doing this for a while, and once I am done with this, I will show you the next step. Alright, so we got it all soaked up and worked in there, so I kept working it with my hands and just getting the brain worked into the hide really well. The next thing we're going to do is wring it out over here, because what's happening is hide glue is coming out of the hide as you're wringing it, and in case you need to re-brain it, if it isn't softening up the way you want it to, you'll have to put it back into the brain mixture, which you can reheat and use again. So I'm going to wring this really well. So something really important to remember is after you scrape your hide and take it off of the bones and stuff, at that point you can put it away and work on it another day. But once you put it into the brain mixture and start this process, it's a process that you're going to have to go until it's completely done. So make sure you have the time to do that. Alright, so now we are doing the stretching part, and I have this handy little thing here. Call it my tanning stick. So it makes it easy because it's like at the right height where I can actually put some pressure down if I'm using a larger hide. With the smaller ones, you really don't need to apply that much pressure. So what I'm doing now, and the reason why I'm sitting by the fire, is because what's happening is that I'm stretching it and it's drying. So that's, the hide is drying while it's in motion, and that's what keeps your hide from being stiff. So you can see that I'm doing mine with the fur on. If you wanted to make some buckskin leather, you would be taking the fur off, and that's called degraining, which is a whole nother process itself. So yeah, so we're just going to keep doing this, and we have to do it until it's completely dry. You don't want to stop even when it's a little bit damp, because it will harden up and not turn out really nice and pliable. So what I'm doing is I'm really using these corners. I'll get the edges really good. The edges are usually the part that is the hardest to get really soft and pliable. Sometimes I'll use a cable, and I have one of those outside. I might go and take a picture of it so you guys can kind of see what that looks like. But I will be sitting here until we are finished. Alright, so here we have our finished product. It's all nice and tan. We got it all nice and tan here. Now we can use it to make something with. This is a smaller animal, so it was pretty quick and easy. And for my smaller animals, I like to leave the fur on a lot of times. You don't have to. Taking the fur off in the beginning is going to be a little bit different process, but the rest of it's basically the same. Yeah, just go out there, find a squirrel, find a rabbit, and go have fun. Hope you enjoyed this.